What if you could learn new knowledge or skills easily and effortlessly? Did you know that there's no such thing as a good or a bad memory, only a trained or an untrained memory? And learning isn't just a skill for students, and you should really be a lifelong learner to continue to level yourself up. And if you want to level up the mother of all soft skills, then this video is for you. In today's videos, we'll share tips to learn how to learn. If you didn't do great in school, or even if you did do well in school, these tips will help you level you up as a person. If you're new, hi, my name is Luki, and I create educational videos on jobs, careers, and life. If you're looking for some practical tips, advice, and life lessons, subscribe to stay up to date. And make sure you stay until the end to get all the tips to learn how to learn. Learning can be broken down into 4 main components. 1 is mindset, 2 is knowledge, 3 is experience, and 4 is improvement. Let's start with your learning mindset. You might have encountered a belief where you might be a math person or someone who's not book smart or not. Understand that really there's no such thing. Science says that with neuroplasticity, anything that a human has done cognitively, you can do as well. That definitely applies to learning. Be sure to adopt a growth mindset. Listen to the Henry Ford quote, "Whether you think you can or think you can't, you're right." Being in the right state to learn can also be helpful. Decluttering your environment can prevent distractions from derailing your learning plans, and you could also leverage sights and sounds with your learning experience. Peppermint often stimulates folks to be more attentive, and music without words can often help prime a learning state. If you are doing something a little more stressful just before you're learning, consider doing some quick exercise to get the blood flowing, or do a quick body scan to help you. You can watch this video to help you out. Consider also managing your time. Use the Pomodoro Technique to break up your time so that you can level up your memory. Get into the right mindset and also set up your environment for success for some amazing learning. Also remember to share this video with a friend and let me know if you have any questions or what you're struggling with in your job search or career, and feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn. Now let's move on to the knowledge stage. A fundamental element of knowledge acquisition is memory. All learning starts with memory. If you can't remember it, did you actually learn it? Well, probably not. Consider taking some time to train your memory. While some people might naturally have a photographic memory, everyone can level up and improve their memory. In the book Moonwalking with Einstein by Joshua Foer, he chronicles his journey to win a memory competition through training. There are all sorts of helpful techniques to help you improve your memory. To start, you can use a useful acronym, MOM. Motivation, observation, and mechanics. Motivation means that you need to want to remember. If you meet a new person, how likely are you to remember that person's name? Maybe 50-50 or even less. However, if I said that if you remembered that person's name, then I'll give you a briefcase filled with $10,000. Now, what's the likelihood that you'll remember that person's name? Hopefully closer to 100%. Now, you might not be motivated by money, but replace the briefcase with whatever that does motivate you, and you'll be well on your way to improve your memory. Observation means that you need to have actually heard it, seen, or experienced whatever it is that you want to remember. If that person says their name, but there's a police siren that goes on in the background, or you're distracted by something else, so you don't actually hear the name, how could you possibly remember it? So sometimes memory problems are that you didn't actually observe or hear what you were supposed to remember. Mechanics have a bunch of different methods depending on what you're trying to remember. For a person's name, you can see a crazy scene on the most prominent feature of someone's face. Then use the C method. S stands for senses, E stands for emotion, and the second E stands for exaggerated. So let's pretend that you're meeting me for the first time. How could you remember my name? Well, first you need to know that my name is Luki. What does Luki remind you of? If you're a Marvel fan, perhaps it reminds you of Loki. You can picture the horns from Loki's helmet growing out of my forehead. You can hear his sinister laugh and feel scared because of it. You can picture an army of 10,000 ice giants crawling across my face. Now, if that actually happened, it would be harder to forget that. And really engage your imagination. For your senses, really hear the laugh, feel the fear, and be overwhelmed by the thousands of ice giants crawling around. If you want to remember a speech, You can use the loci method or memory palace method. Imagine you're in your room and create a scene using the C method for the first part of your speech. Go into the hallway and create a scene for the second paragraph. Down the stairs, put a scene for your next paragraph, and so on and so on. You can also use a peg system or linked list to memorize different facts, features, and lists. You can also use the major system, where you represent numbers with consonants, and you can memorize the first 20 digits of pi using the sentence, "My turtle poncho will, my love, pick my new movie." Now, did I totally confuse you? Well, look up the major system, and that should help. There are lots of other memory techniques. Research a few based on your particular needs. And even if you're not good with these techniques, going through the process will help you improve your memory, which in turn will help improve yours. Now, learning is not just about memorizing, so you'll want to consider the levels of learning. You can look up Bloom's taxonomy. At level 1, you have remember. If all you can do is just regurgitate the facts, well, you're at the bottom level. At level 2, you have understanding. So as you dive into the material, look to describe, summarize, and explain the concepts. At level 3, you have apply. You want to take the concepts and implement them, problem solve with them. At level 4, you have analyze. This is the level that you want to get to make sure that you actually learn the concepts. And at level 4, you'll want to compare and contrast and even run experiments to put the concepts to the test. At level 5, you have evaluate. And if you actually get to this level, you're really at a university or even master's, PhD level. And here's where you need to judge and argue for or against the concepts and understand its value. And the last level, 6, is to create. And this is not just about making something, it's about making something new that didn't exist from your previous knowledge or experience. Now, as you learn, consider starting with level 4 and going down instead of starting with level 1 and moving up. That will really accelerate your learning. Take time to analyze, compare and contrast what you're learning from your existing experience and knowledge, and then understand where could you apply it. How could you solve similar or different problems with that concept, and then go on explaining and remembering it. Additionally, you can use things like mind mapping to take notes. You could also switch between reading the material, listening to the material, watching the material, as well as doing and experiencing the material. On that note, if you're finding this video helpful, why not join the Focus Inspired Academy, which is your gym for career confidence. Go deeper into these concepts and get group coaching to help. Click the link in the description box below for a free 1-month trial for supporting the channel. Let's jump into experience. There's a quote, "Knowledge is not power. It's only potential power. Applying that knowledge is power." Basically, you want to take that knowledge and turn it into action. Think about it. Would you rather hire the person that has read every single book on swimming, or the person who's been in the pool for the past 2 years? There's a big difference between academic learning and experiential learning. Be sure to engage with the material. Don't just have facts that all you've done is memorize and can regurgitate. Ask yourself, where have I used these concepts in my life? Or where could I, or how could I? You could ask yourself, what are these concepts similar to? Consider also teaching the information to someone else. One interesting approach is Eli 5. Explain it like I'm 5. If you can explain the concept to someone like they were 5 years old and they understand it, or if you actually know a 5-year-old and could explain it to them, then you really understand it and have a solid understanding of the material. Also, consider getting a job, ideally in that area of interest, where it could be an internship, part-time, or contract. And if not getting a job, maybe experiencing the work environment can be helpful. The biggest difference between academic and experiential is the people factor. On paper and in theory, everything works out smoothly. But until you have to deal with a difficult coworker, a challenging boss, an unreasonable client, then you really don't know how to do that job. And if you can't land a job, consider volunteering. If you can't volunteer, consider doing your own personal project. The goal is to practice. Turn that theory into practice. Then get better, which we'll get to in the improve section. And if you can't do any of those, consider having a conversation with someone that has done what you want to do and get advice from them and learn from their experiences. This doesn't just apply to being in school. If you're already in the workforce and taking a certification, consider finding ones that have an experiential component, one that has an industry project or one that has an internship component or something to get you tangible, practical, experiential learning. Academically, you might know all of the steps to follow, but the goal is to experience them so that you have an understanding of what nuances are applicable for any given context. If you don't have the opportunity to experience everything in its entirety, consider breaking it down to its components. You might not be able to have access to equipment or resources to do steps A to F, but you might have resources to help you get to steps A to B, and then C to D, and then E, and then step F. And if you're struggling with learning to learn, write your challenges in the comments below. Now that you have the knowledge and are putting it into action to get experience, ideally what you want to do is continuously improve. Follow Kaizen, which means continuous, never-ending improvement in Japanese. Have you been practicing and improving over the last 10 months? Or have you been doing the same 1-month activity 10 times? When you put your knowledge into practice, be sure to take some time to reflect and improve. What did you do well? What could you do better? Then be sure to do both of them next time. You might have heard of the concept of the 10,000 hour rule. The 10,000 hour rule says that to be world-class, you need 10,000 hours of practice. That practice needs to be deliberate practice. Practice with the purpose to improve. You could practice playing tennis for 10,000 hours, but if you're not taking the opportunity to improve at least one element of your tennis game each time, then the practice won't be as helpful. Keep in mind that you could figure it out by yourself or get help to do so. Understand that success leaves clues. Find people who have done what you want to be doing and learn from. Find a mentor. Get a coach. Often they see things that you might not notice on your own. They can accelerate your learning. Plus, they might have encountered things that you haven't yet encountered to accelerate your journey even more. That should get you started on your journey to level up your skills in learning and learn how to learn. Get in the right learning mindset. Gain knowledge faster by improving your memory. Turn the knowledge into experience to demonstrate your learning and continuously improve. Be sure to check the community tab to vote on which video you want to see next. And don't forget to subscribe for more tips on jobs, careers, and life. And YouTube recommends that you check out these videos next. Until next time, be focused and stay inspired.